Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of your favorite midday NFL show on the internet. Roundtable Sports presents Fourth and Forever, real coverage from real fans. I missed you guys. I really, really did. I went through a damn dental journey for the past couple of days, boys. On Friday, I had 2 of my wisdom teeth removed. I still need 2 more later down the road, but
was it painful?
Surprisingly enough, not nearly as bad as the root canal I got yesterday. Like yesterday, yesterday I got a root canal. That was probably one of the worst experiences I think that I've ever had to deal with. I'm kind of sore right now. Like I'm on some ibuprofen and some antibiotics, but damn, bro, like that was not something I recommend. Floss your teeth, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody ever asks, Dan, what that mouth do, I'd probably just tell you it hurts.
Damn.
It cost me money, baby. That's what that mouth do. But yeah, man, I am so glad to be back. I missed you guys. I know. I missed you guys, and I am glad that I'm back in the forefront, ready to unpack today's topics. How did the wide receiver rankings go yesterday? I thought that I looked at a couple of the comments, and there was some...
You want to see the results?
Yes, actually, I would love to.
I'm very happy about this because I noticed something, TD, about the rankings that we did together, the wide receiver rankings. TD, you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I noticed something that we didn't even think about that I'm going to bring up now. But before we do, TD, you got to say how you doing, bro. Come on.
I'm doing great. Listen, Dan, you gave me some hope because I have none of my wisdom teeth removed. And the doctor said they're doing well where they're not pushing, the teeth that are up there aren't pushing down.
Yeah.
But they say, if you don't have any removed, it's worse when you get older and older. So I'm like, man, I hope I never have to have them removed, but I don't know.
So surprisingly enough, man, I was anticipating that what they would do is put me to sleep. Mostly those videos you see where people are all loopy and shit and they wake up and so they don't recognize their mother. Now, bro, all they do is just numb you to all hell and just rip them out.
Then you hear the cracks. You hear the sounds of the.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
man,
dude,
definitely. Oh, dude, was
you feel the nerves.
But
no.
TD's
so
traumatized.
So I guess mine weren't impacted, right? So so they were fully out. So he literally just numbed me to all hell. So I looked like a stroke victim yesterday. My mouth was that the entire time. Hence why I didn't want to hop on any YouTube live stream and stuff. But yeah, dude, just numbed my ass up and just fucking took a wrench and popped that shit out right in front of me.
To see if I ain't waking up my mouth.
Yeah, I got my wisdom teeth out, but I was put under. I had emergency. All of a sudden, I had the most excruciating pain come out of nowhere, the bottom right here. And I had to get rushed to the ER. And I'm like, this is excruciating pain where I'm literally I don't know what's going on. My wisdom tooth kind of started getting impacted, got infected. So my whole gum is swollen. And so I got rushed into crazy surgery the next day or two. And they put me under. And it was a brutal experience.
Gosh, man. Does everybody have to get wisdoms removed? Or
is it no, but it's likely.
It's just so they're hard to clean, right?
You want
to
remove
more prone to get cavities, and it's tough. You know what I mean? All I know is that since I don't have any insurance and I've had to pay out of pocket for all of this procedures, I do know that I have paid for my dentist lease payment at least for 3 months, with everything that's come out of pocket for the past couple of days. But shit, so my thing was me not having insurance. I was under the impression that all of these procedures would have been crazy, but surprisingly enough, it's not as bad as you think.
And there's a chance that you don't even have wisdom teeth. I don't have wisdom teeth on my top, only my bottom. Some people have all 4.
Oh.
Some people don't have any.
What?
Yeah. All right. Welcome to Wisdom Teeth show.
Yeah. Sorry for the.
Well, let's get into the wide receiver rankings
thing. Yeah. Well, first, I did want to see those wide receiver rankings y'all did.
So there's something here about these rankings I noticed after the fact that I want to show you. See if you guys notice anything.
Well, here we go. Something to do with Waddle.
It has nothing to do with Waddle.
Good.
Dan, what are your thoughts of the rankings, first of all?
First off, I will say I actually agree with Jamar Chase being number 1. It's close. And say that I could have a 1A, 1B, I'd probably agree with that because it is indeed very close. But I'd probably have to go with Chase at 1, CeeDee Lamb at 3. I saw Amon-Ra St. Brown at 4. Why was Troy upset about it? Because yesterday when I was watching, he was upset that Amon-Ra fell at a certain place.
No, he was rubbing it. He was rubbing it into TD that he was above Tyreek. He wasn't.
And he shouldn't have been.
He was happy.
He was.
And he shouldn't have been.
He was rubbing it in. He was like rubbing it in that TD was upset about that.
That's ridiculous.
So I'll tell you what, I really don't.
Oh, well, Big Papa Bill thinks Tyreek is washed and he shouldn't even be 5. So we respect.
Yeah, look at the picture he got on the screen. That's why.
So I'll tell you what, I really don't hate this list, man. Like, I'm not seeing anything that's maybe sleeping on Zay Flowers a little bit, but then again, I wasn't a part of the exercise.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is too low. 100% agree.
Yeah, Zay Flowers is probably a little too low for me.
But who would you put under him? Because it's kind of hard. There's a lot of good receivers. Who would you replace?
I'd probably put Marvin Harrison Jr. below Zay Flowers. I put Jalen Waddle below Zay Flowers.
Oh my God.
Okay, thank you,
I'd put JSN under him. I'd put Drake London. And y'all know that I'm a Ladd McConkey guy. But I'd put Ladd McConkey under, like, Zay.
Yeah, I agree. You're right.
Like, Zay should probably be, like, 14 or 15.
All right, so can I say what I noticed about this days after the fact? And I almost called TD to tell him because it's pretty hilarious. Ready for this?
Yeah.
There's something missing on this list. And it's
someone or something.
There's something missing from this list. And it has to do with there's not even a Buffalo Bills receiver on this list. We didn't even rank a Bills receiver.
Dude, you know what?
The Bills don't even have a top 30 receiver on their team to the point where they don't even deserve a name.
Is there
my
a Patriot?
point. Or a Patriot.
But look, something that helps me sleep a bit better.
But you win without it. It's proven that you can win without it. But dude. it was wild to me. It clicked. I'm like, we didn't even have a Bills receiver to rank.
Yeah, dude, exactly. Not a single one. Yeah, dude, like not a single one was even included. Yeah. But like what makes it even more impressive, like yesterday when I was doing some video, so because me and Mina Kimes sort of got into it on X yesterday.
Did you really? No way.
Well, like not bad, but like we had a disagreement and we hilarious. Went like back and forth about what the big issue was with the Buffalo Bills. She said was the lack of a wide receiver, and I said it had everything to do with lack of depth and pass rush like it has been for the past couple of years. But, like, so while I was doing research, yes, the Bills have no notable, like, wide receivers on the offense. At the exact same time, we are currently second all-time in NFL history for games in which you scored 30 points or more. And the only team that scored or had more 30-plus point games in NFL history was the Denver Broncos in 2013. So, which I thought was an insane stat. So, shout out Joe Brady. I have no idea how the hell he doesn't like have a head coaching job now. And to be honest with you,
this has everything to do simply with the fact that the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, and the New England Patriots have made life easy for the Bills. That is over now. 8 wins for the Bills.
Well, 8 wins for the Bills. The rage bait has started 9 minutes into the show.
Ain't no rage bait, Dan. Y'all ain't as good as y'all are.
And someone said Dan and Mina got into it. No. She is probably the best analyst on ESPN. Love her stuff.
I'm curious of what happened reading it right now.
Oh, yeah, read it up. So it started off with me quote tweeting her thing.
Yeah,
so I'm sure you're pulling it up right now.
Yep. So Dan quote tweeted her, where let's break it down. Mina Kimes believes the Bills receivers, not Josh Allen, needs to improve for the Bills to win a Super Bowl. You need one of those skill players to step up as a true one-on-one. Dan Mitchell responds to Mina Kimes, a wide receiver corp that helped lead the Bills to the highest scoring offense in 2024, playoffs included, is the problem. Mina Kimes comes back. I wasn't about I wasn't asked what the problem was, but what it would take to get over the hump. It's a good group, but they need someone to make another jump. Dan's like, I'd have to disagree. This is great. Pass rush and lack of reliable depth in the secondary has been the Bills' Achilles heel. The Bills addressed that this offseason, so I'm optimistic. Mina Kimes responds, yeah, CB2 was my biggest issue and thus X factor on my pod. Right there, Dan, you should have been like, big fan of your stuff, Mina. Appreciate the conversation. I think you should have said afterwards, why don't you come on Roundtable Sports? Fourth and forever discuss. I'm just kidding.
Surprisingly enough, I was actually about to send over a DM, but her account doesn't allow DMs.
Dude, let's find her contact. You should be like, hey, Mina, I would love to invite you on my show to talk about this topic.
Oh, dude, I would love for her to be on the show.
Dan Mitchell got owned. Told you them Bills suck. Y'all can't even figure out the problem. D-line, TVs. Come on, man.
And so I feel like it was just two professionals having a disagreement. All right, Mina's very sweet.
No, that was great, Dan.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big fan of her work, and I'm just glad that she engaged with little old me. You know why not?
Little old me, yeah.
Did she like your respond back?
What's that?
Did she click like on the big fan of your stuff, Mina?
She did. She hit that heart icon, which is, it's good.
I think Sports on the map, Dan, baby. I would DM her on Instagram if you want to contact her.
Yep. Dude, you know what, man?
You're doing it as we speak.
When it comes into clout,
that's where your clout is at.
That IG clout, you know what I mean?
Now she has a familiarity of the real Dan Mitchell with that same profile picture.
Now when we see her at the
Radio Row.
Radio Row.
Yeah, we saw her at Radio Row, and then next year at the Super Bowl we'll meet her in person. Be like, hey, Mina, remember we had the disagreement about the Bills, and if the Bills were the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And by the way, wasn't I right, Mina? Yeah, wasn't I right, Mina?
Nope.
Look at that. Look at that. Here we are in Santa Clara about to play for a Lombardi. Look at that.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. And so I'll tell you something I'm really excited about. So we have decided that we are launching a college football show this year, folks.
Let's go.
Chat, sound off. Sound off and let us know what college team you rep. But Roundtable Sports is going to be doing a show. I have two co-hosts that I am currently recruiting right now. And that way, for all of you that are obsessed with college football as you are the NFL, you could also tune into that. Some more information coming out on that shortly.
Awesome.
And so I thought that I would just seize the opportunity, and I really hope that all of you guys come and show a little bit of love. I am a big SEC guy, but luckily I have one of the co-hosts that's big into Big Ten, and we have another guy he's a Notre Dame fan. So he's independent, but we will cover everything. All right, listen, bro. You were going to hate Carson Beck by week 3.
Hey, we win the Natty this year.
All right. See, this is
not
where
with Carson Beck. I promise you, not with Carson Beck. I promise you that.
Okay, now you're proving that you're just a giant character, TD. You know what I mean?
Why you say that? I'm a
because you just sounded the same thing you did about the Dolphins.
Yeah, but the Hurricanes. Listen, we make Cam Wards. That's what we do.
Cam Ward is nobody yet.
He gonna be better than Justin Fields. That's for sure.
What is that? Okay, cool. That even if he is better than Justin Fields, who knows that he's going to be a beast? That doesn't mean nothing.
Cam Ward gonna be a beast in the NFL. Everybody know it.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. After I did meet him at the draft, and I had a conversation with him, and took a selfie with him, and met his family at the draft at his hotel. You know what? I am a Cam Ward fan. I'm rooting for him.
So you know what? So one thing, like, we have to make sure that, like, we never become, because, like, several, like, beat reporters that I follow, sometimes I feel like they have such close relationships with players that they need to walk around on eggshells when it comes into actually covering them and their overall play.
Yep.
And they teeter around, and they're afraid that they're going to upset the organization and set players. I feel like we all need to have that pact with each other that it doesn't even matter if we get invited to their family's Thanksgiving. If they play like bums,
it's the truth.
Like, we got to rip them a brand new one, baby. Like, that's how we got to do it. We got to stay real. We owe the audience the realism on this show.
I agree. It's too much of that going on.
That's what I'm talking about.
We shall see. I just can't wait for the Jets to prove the whole world wrong. Eventually.
So I feel like Tua must be sending Omar a Christmas card every single year or something like that, TD. I've been watching.
No,
there's some sort of relationship there, man.
No, that's not what it is. I just think that Omar's excellent in marketing.
He's excellent at marketing. Shout out to Omar, man. Shout
Even
out to Omar.
Even though they call me the troll, but yeah.
And they call you the troll, man. It is what it is. But hey, you know what? Listen, we all love to debate how an NFL organization is looking like right now. However, I feel like we need to actually look at NFL franchises as a whole, right? Let's rank NFL franchises throughout the history of their franchise. Today, we have pulled up the Tier Maker on the Tier Maker website, and we are going to go organization by organization and give them a grade from the D tier, meaning the worst, to the S tier, meaning absolutely satisfactory of a franchise grade.
So do we start from the down up or the up down?
So we're just going to go team by team, and then we are going to assign them as they go into it.
Cool. Let's start it up.
So the first team is the Arizona Cardinals. And one thing I would like to point out about this, finally a tier where we will be an S. Dose of Dion. Man.
What do you think, TD? Is Troy going to be in the S tier in this?
Let's save that for once we get to the Lions. All right, listen, we're trying to make sure that we get Dose to watch an average of 20 minutes at least.
Dose is probably driving right now. He told me that it's part of his routine to be driving at this time of the day every single day, and he's always has us on in his car. So shout out to Troy, who watches us every day and who was a guest of Fourth and Forever, filling in for Dan Mitchell yesterday.
Yes, thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. All right, starting off with the Arizona Cardinals. This is the oldest franchise in NFL history. The very first... So? Yeah, dude. 1898 was when the Cardinals were founded. Now, granted, not always in Arizona. We're certainly around, but it's the same franchise. No ring whatsoever. In fact, I'm kind of curious to see how many Super Bowls the Cardinals have ever even been to. Let me see. Super Bowl appearances for Cardinals franchise. Let me see. How many Super Bowl appearances, folks? Let's check it out. And Chat GPT.
One Super Bowl appearance they have. And
pre-Super Bowl NFL championships, 1925, 1947, before the...
They are tier D. Let's just keep it a buck.
I'm going to have to put the Cardinals at D right here. Like, so many mishaps when it came into the Josh Rosen experience. And then also going from Kyler Murray, who doesn't seem to be the guy, coaching carousels. I think the Arizona Cardinals are in the D tier. Sorry, Cardinals fans who are watching this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk Atlanta Falcons.
Wait, you disagree?
With that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, never mind. I mean, I put them in the C range.
C?
Now, they don't have any Super Bowls.
They have one appearance.
They don't have any Super Bowls?
Not
so
one
just
Super Bowl.
One appearance. That's it.
One appearance and no ring.
All right, never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Wait, we got a super chat before we go from LA, $10. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. I've been away for a bit, might have missed it, but will there be another Miami event? If so, see you in Miami again, Tony. LOL. Go Jets, keep grinding. Much love. Well, shout out to LA, brother. We really do appreciate the super chat. We may be doing an event that involves the Dolphins, but it may not be in Miami, my man. If we do an event outside of the Buffalo event, of course, we're thinking of potentially doing Jets-Dolphins, but this time in MetLife Stadium. So we would love, if you live in the Florida area, LA, and if we actually do that at event, we'd love to have you come to New York and watch the Jets and Dolphins at MetLife Stadium. So that has not been announced yet, but if it does, we'll let you know. LA, appreciate the $10 super chat, and we appreciate the love, and let's go Jets.
Damn. All right, boys, we have the Atlanta Falcons, the 28-3 organization. And so the signing Kirk Cousins to a mega contract only to draft
D.
and only to draft Michael Penix. I'm going to have to go with D as well for the Atlanta Falcons. All right, we have the Baltimore Ravens here. 2 Super Bowls, right? Ravens, Super Bowl.
They have 2 Super Bowls.
Okay, so they have 2 Super Bowls. And so a team that has quite a bit of consistency. Solid front office. I'm not putting them in S tier because I really think there's only 2 teams that are ultimately going to go.
They're an A or an B.
I'd say A for me. I'd say A.
You can argue B.
You could argue B as well. I feel like A or B is probably where I'm leaning, and I feel like I need to give TD and the deciding vote here, or the tiebreaker, if you will. Baltimore Ravens.
Trying to look their overall in history playoff record. I'm gonna have to go A. I'll go A.
The A tier for the Baltimore
Ravens. And I also
Ravens,
think, are we going to put a little twist of who they are in this moment on this lit ranking, or what?
We're just doing franchises of all time.
Yeah. Like, is there, for example,
an all... Because we just ended up doing team rankings a couple of days ago via that one site. I feel like it'd be the exact same thing. Ravens, I'd probably go with A. Buffalo Bills, all right? So no rings, 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. So no team has ever done that. The Kansas City Chiefs could do it this year, but we will see. That is one feat. A 17-year playoff drought, but now looking into the 2020 and then also to present, second highest win percentage only to the Kansas City Chiefs. Wildly consistent, at least in the Josh Allen era. 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, and they're not. I'm going to have to go a B on this one. And so I think that Super Bowl appearance feat is probably ideal. Consistency in the present day, the drought sucks. It's definitely not an A, but B
I got
is where
them
I'm
in the
going.
C. In the C.
C?
I think you B, if there's a requirement for B, and that's at least a ring.
B is for C, a ring, you're saying?
Yeah, I think they're right underneath that C. That's my vote, because you got to at least have uno ring. That means that's a championship is all. And they're definitely not a D. No shot they're a D. But I think they are a C. D is disrespectful, and it's not up for debate. C, 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, and then that 17 playoff year drought was pretty abysmal. If they were
pretty abysmal.
If they were alive those 17 years and they were competitive and had more Super Bowl appearances or more playoff runs, but still didn't have a ring, you can argue B. But I think that 17-year playoff drought in between, and they still have not made the Super Bowl, by the way, in this era that you just said is the winning percentage. They have not made a Super Bowl in this era yet, which is a big feature. Okay. So I'm going C.
That's what do you got, TD?
Yeah, this one's tough for me. It's kind of like they fall in the C, but they kind of B minus, because even though they don't have that Super Bowl, they have been relevant. They have battled for many years.
17 years straight without relevancy, by the way, TD.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, we had quite a drought. Like, quite a drought.
Yeah, but I don't think that matters from a. I mean, it matters, but historically, there's still been, relevant. And the reason why I say that, because when you look at the Dolphins, 25 years of a drought, but when you look at our storied history, that's pretty good. I'm gonna have to go, man.
Their drought outweighs their relevance, though.
No, I mean, because you could have been dominant.
We've had like so we've had 2 stretches, like 2 pretty long stretches, I would say as well, from our existence in the NFL from being relevant, though, right? Like we had like that one stretch, and so I think we can all agree that it's hard to be a consistent playoff team for 5+ years. It's very hard. It does take a special organization. And Buffalo has done it twice. Once in the 90s and then now right in the 2020s. Hence why I'm kind of like, I'd give them B. And so I'm not being a homer and putting them in A, obviously, because no ring. But
yeah, I'm trying not to hate on Buffalo, but I'll go C, because this is like a B minus for me.
It's a B minus for you. He's rounding down for the Bills.
Yeah.
Bills fans, I promise you, I was trying to battle for B.
Yeah, and I don't look.
If you want to ring this year, Dan, you're automatically in B without.
Yeah, I don't look.
Yeah. We're just talking about franchise,
and then all of a sudden, you
as
win
a whole.
Josh Allen's 3 rings. You're in A.
I don't look at the 0-4 in the Super Bowl as much, because that's 4 appearances too.
Yeah.
Like, I think S and A are reserved for those Super Bowl teams, and then a few Bs for Super Bowl. But, I think you could still be B without winning the Super Bowl if you had a lot of appearances. That's
For
why
sure.
it was close to me.
So we have the Carolina Panthers, a short-lived organization. And so I want to say their first year was 95, was it? Was it 96?
Carolina's
Don't remember.
93.
They are
Yeah,
deep.
93, excuse me. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 loss to the Patriots, 2nd loss to the Denver Broncos, where Cam Newton definitely should have fell on that ball. Quite a bit. All right, so for me, for Carolina, I'm going to have to give them the D on this one because you'll notice that they never ended up having like a long stretch within their existence where they dominated year in after year out. Even after their 2 Super Bowl appearances, the following season was a massive disappointment, and it took them a while to get relevant again. I'm going to have to go D on this one.
I got to go C. Short-lived organization, 2 appearances already. I mean,
no, that's a D,
like,
bro.
When we're looking at all time, though, like, how are we going to weigh it? Because they haven't been in this league like these teams from 1950. They're 1993, and they already have 2 appearances. There are 32 teams in the NFL. They've been there 2 times over. Like, say every team should at least go once every 15 years because 2 teams go, right? Like, if you're good enough. They've been twice. They've met that quota almost. Now, they didn't win when they went, right?
No. They don't have 1 ring.
Yeah, tell me their ratio isn't the same as the Bills. 1960 for the Bills or whatever. I mean, when was the Bills?
Yeah, but TD, this is how I look at it as well. You got to factor in. They're all-time 219 and 264 as a franchise, a losing franchise. So, like, those 2 they have a losing record all-time, and just 2 Super Bowl appearances, no ring. They've been irrelevant and bad. They had a good stretch, and that fizzled out. Like, there's no consistency in order to put them up to C in my eyes. Like, that's how I look at it too.
Bills got an all-time losing record too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like the 4 straight Super Bowl appearances and what they're doing in this era is better than what the Panthers have done with their 2 Super Bowl appearances.
I think you keep on bringing this era into it versus.
Yeah, I mean, who they are the last 5 years matters into the all-time equation.
But it doesn't, because you got to wait all time, the whole thing. Like, the Patriots ain't been nothing for the last 5 years. Are we going to wait that heavy on them? Are we going to put the Patriots in A because of the last 5 years? They get knocked out of S?
Who gets in it? Who?
Like, are we going to put the Patriots in A after
the
last?
Oh, no, it's S.
But the last 5 years. But that's why you can't weigh, you can't use just the last. Not
so you're going to take 2 seasons out of like 25, however, 30 plus to put them in C? Like, they haven't been a consistent franchise.
No. Two Super Bowl appearances. That weren't the only 2 seasons they had that were good.
I know.
Good seasons.
For the most part, I feel like the Panthers haven't made their mark enough to. I don't know. I feel like you got to do more than get to 2 Super Bowls to be in the C category.
But again, I think you're missing the origin of 1993, Richie. They're babies in the league. And to do what they've all done, they've had an era of the Cam Newton going to Super Bowls. Some teams don't even have that after 60 years. And we're going to put them at the bottom. They have appearances. There are some teams that I don't even, does every team have appearances?
No. There's a select few that's never been.
No, there's a couple.
We gonna put a team with 2 appearances with them?
So what I'm curious is how many playoff appearances have the Carolina Panthers? And 2. I'm just curious to see what their playoff appearances are, because that's going to be telling as well. So they've been to the Super Bowl twice, and they've only been to the playoffs in 1996, in 2003, in 2005, in 2008, 13, 14, 15, and 17. So really only 1 time where they made the playoffs 3 years in a row, and then typically, right in the earlier rounds, was about 3 to 4 years in between. So, not necessarily an organization that's screaming, I'd say, consistency.
Yeah, really.
And by the way, folks, this right here
into the last 5 years.
So, by the way, guys, this right here would probably be.
You said B- for the Bills, TD. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's why I put the Panthers in C. I just don't think they're the worst of the worst organizations. They're babies in this.
They're like a D plus.
So I think we can agree with a D here. That is my vote for the rubber match. And keep in mind, I do know that TD normally has to run exactly at 2, so let's run through these
3
as fast as humanly possible. And by the way, I do think that Panthers debate should be a clip video for anybody that cares. Wink, wink.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Chicago Bears. For me,
yeah,
have the 85 Super Bowl championship. It's been a long time since this team was relevant. The double doink for me. C tier for me.
Nah, they're B.
B? Okay,
Yeah.
B for a ring?
I mean, not even just a ring, but that era of, like, they have an all-time era that you always refer to, the 85 Bears. Whenever you see a all-time good defense, you're like, oh, we're trying to be the 85 Bears. Like, that's an all-time team. And they have a ring. I think B for the Chicago Bears. I know that in recent era, absolutely trash. But I feel like that era of the 85 Bears alone outweighs the inconsistencies.
All right, TD, what do you got?
I put the
and
Bears.
Also 100+ years of history, which is crazy.
Yeah, I put the Bears in B.
B.
And I actually got them on the upper side, like B plus, because they've kept up with the standard. They are the second oldest team, from my understanding, from the established day, and they have the second most wins. So they kept up with the status of where they should be right now.
I agree.
And are we also going to factor into the all-time equation how many Hall of Fame players a franchise has?
Yeah. And so right off of the top, yeah, most definitely. We can put that in. So Chicago being B, I think, is certainly something up there.
I was just curious.
All right. So I think both of us can agree that Cincinnati and Cleveland are horrible franchises.
Mm-hmm. And real quick, one last note on Chicago.
And Cleveland, both D.
I agree. Real quick on Chicago, they have the most Hall of Famers in the NFL.
Okay. So the B tier for Chicago
is
fair.
Yeah.
Is fair.
The most Hall of Famers in franchise in NFL history on their team. 39.
All right. So this one's going to be very heavily debated.
Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys.
I know where mine is immediately.
They got rings. That 90s Cowboys organization was dominant. That 90s team was absolutely dominant. But since then, not so much. But I don't think that you ever gained the title America's team by not having a pretty long stretch of greatness. As much as this pains me to say, I'm going to have to put them in the A tier. Historically.
Yeah, I think right away. And it's crazy. When you think Cowboys, like my lifetime as an NFL fan, I think the Cowboys suck because that era I wasn't alive for. Like, I don't know anything about the Cowboys being successful, which is funny. Yeah. But all time, I think they're an A. I agree. You could argue S, honestly, but no. I would say A.
You could argue S.
Yeah, I think A is minimum. There's definitely not B. You can argue S, but I'm going to put them in the A tier.
A tier? Yeah. What about you, TD?
Dallas Cowboys. They're going to be in the S tier for me.
S for you.
Yeah. They dominated in the era.
They did.
You don't want to bring in Hall of Famers. That's a whole nother thing.
All right, listen. Say that you get
their fifth all time, tied for third all time.
5 Super Bowl titles.
And not only that, the reason why I have them in S,
I feel like I'll put them in S too.
Have they not had a winning record almost every year in the last 30 years too? Like, even though they've had problems in the playoffs, they've been getting there a lot. Tony Romo's era, Dak Prescott's era, they're still winning teams. Now, closing the deal, they haven't been able to do as much lately, but they had an era just as much as the Patriots had an era.
True.
I actually put them in the top tier.
All right. I can't. That's what I said. S can be argued. And
S could be argued.
Can't get mad at that.
We have the Denver Broncos.
I said almost, JD.
Have the Denver Broncos.
Boy, Peyton
how many do they have? 3?
3 Super Bowl rings with Elway and Manning. I think the Denver Broncos.
I'd say A. Yeah.
I think they're an A.
3 Super Bowls, you said?
3.
3, yeah.
3.
I think they're an A. With
Still
the
pretty
Ravens.
consistent team, too.
The Ravens are a 2-time champ, and they're an A.
They're like a B+ because they're wins, history wins, you know? They're like, but okay, I mean, I ain't mad either way. You could put them at, like, to me, the bottom of A's or top of B's.
Yeah.
They're an A.
I feel like A is going to be good.
Because they have a winning postseason record.
So poor Troy, it's the Detroit Lions. And I know they've had recent success and for the past couple of years. But Troy, please forgive me. I'm going to have to put the Lions at the D tier.
Yes, they are. They would be F if there was one.
I mean, hey, listen, you know what? Things could change.
And
Give me 2 more years of consistency.
Yeah,
we're good.
Lions do belong in F. They're the third old. Wait, hold on. The Lions are the 5th oldest franchise, like established in 1930. Like, and they would be F if there was one.
And if you argued them higher than D, that is pure recency biased.
Yeah,
2 years of relevancy compared to.
Here's what's funny about that. How many in the last 2 years didn't they add 3 playoff wins or something like that?
Yeah.
And their playoff record is 9-15.
They don't make it. They don't make the playoffs.
And they've been around for a while.
They got titles though. They got NFL titles. Does that matter?
Yeah, they've
been around for a minute.
They have
4 NFL titles.
Playoff appearances, I believe, in the NFL, lowest.
And they've been alive the longest. Probably. Not the longest. They haven't, but one of them.
That's F.
All right. Yeah. D.
Packers. Yeah, man. See, but this. Hold on. Back up. This is what I mean. We're gonna put the Panthers with that.
So the Packers for me is between S.
Can you add an F tier, Dan? Or no?
An F tier? Yeah, I can.
Because I think that's where. Because I get where TD's saying. Yeah, add an F tier and put the Lions in. And
who else do an F tier?
No way. You wish. We don't belong.
An F and
who else is an F?
Browns would be an
Bengals.
F.
Yeah, I think Bengals too.
I say Bengals are an F tier too.
Yeah,
that's fair.
How long the Bengals?
All
right. Anyway. This is criminal, Troy. Unfortunately, and so I think you believe us. All right. It's just something I feel like and that you haven't been able to accept just yet. All right. Anyway, we have the Green Bay Packers. I am between S and A here, 4 Super Bowl champions. The Green Bay Packers are a household name in this league. They never miss on a damn quarterback ever. Like, whoever is the quarterback for that team is just insane. A lot of history. The damn Super Bowl trophy is named after a coach over there. I'm going to have to go with the S for the Green Bay Packers. I'm not sure about you guys. Also,
like,
wildly
how many S's are we going to have?
Probably 4, maybe.
5. 5 for
S's.
Me. 5 S's more than likely.
Yeah, I mean, you can argue. Yeah, I mean.
And we're not going to be biased, are we?
No.
I would say S.
Dude, Dude, listen, I put the Bills at the C tier. I think that's probably like the best.
You said you put it on B, Dan. We voted for C.
Yeah.
Okay, I put them at the B tier, which is
You didn't put them in B.
Y'all just better not be disrespecting the Dolphins. Do not, because y'all already know what time it is.
Packers.
All right,
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go. Packers. I'm gonna put Packers in the S. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Packers S. All right, let's get to the Dolphins then. Where's
Most
TD think the
wins all
Dolphins are?
time.
All right,
Yeah,
we
no
have the
bias,
Houston-
TD. We better not be no bias. I gotta see where you put those Dolphins.
We have the Houston Texans, still a relatively new franchise. I want to say they were in 2003, 2004, something new, or 2000 maybe. So no Super Bowls, like maybe one or two Hall of Famers. I'm going to have to give them the D tier.
Oh no.
Texans?
So no appearances at all.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's okay. Aren't they like the youngest franchise?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I'm putting them in the C category. They had some good.
No,
They've done
you can't.
nothing. C
So
category. What are the
no,
Texans done?
So we need to put the Bills in the B tier
hold
if
on,
you're
hold on.
putting the Texans in the C tier.
That's ridiculous. You could argue F. I think Texans are F. Texans are F for me. F, my vote. Not even D. What have they done?
I
Ever.
feel like D is actually the better answer.
Okay, argue D. What have they done for D?
Give me a second. Hold on.
I think they're an F.
Oh, he wouldn't even with that. I'm thinking about the wrong team.
They were terrible
right.
since they've been
So-
expanded.
Yeah,
So
I put
here
him
it
in
is.
D. I put him in D.
Okay, D. All right.
Okay,
perfect.
why D and not F though? Please tell me. What have they
Yeah,
done?
because first of all, they've been in the
20
league
plus
for 23 years.
Okay, what have they done in 23 years? I don't care when they started. They've done nothing.
So they've only ever had 8 playoff appearances, and only 2 players have made it to the Hall of Fame from
F.
the organization.
Eight playoff appearances in 22 years. We just
Yeah,
talked
that's a
about
terrible
team.
ratio. F.
We just talked about the Lions.
What have we done?
How many times they've been? Come on, man. 22 years, 8 playoff appearances, and that's terrible to you?
So we'll
That's
agree with the D
not
tier
F.
then. So we'll agree with the D tier. D.
Hold on. Let me ask you.
23
How-
years and
hold
they've been
on.
to the playoffs 8 times.
Hold on. Let me ask you this. How many playoff appearances have the Jets had in the last 22 years? How many have the
So we
Dolphins
haven't
had
been to
in
the
last
Jets yet.
22 years?
What do the
No,
Jets
no,
have to
I'm-
do with this?
I'm doing this as a comparison. So they in their time frame, they're way ahead of schedule. There are teams that in the last 22
They're not
years,
in the same pace as the Jets.
Yeah, but you're putting them.
So
with
with TD,
teams-
listen, I will. All right,
Jets have
listen,
something they
You
don't.
gotta put them an F.
So I will entertain putting the Houston Texans at the C tier if you
No, I'm
change
not
your
even
go to the
saying
Buffalo
C.
Bills going to the B tier.
No. I'm not saying they're a C. I'm saying they're a D. I'm saying they're D. But
Okay,
to put them
D.
in F is just
Yeah. Well, D is fine. It's too soon to tell. They're young.
I think they're F because they've 23 years have not done anything of relevance to even give them the honor. But
And they've
besides
done
make
more
the playoffs
than the
8
Jets
times.
in the last.
What do the
22
Jets
years.
have to do with this?
It's the bro. It's the
The
comparison.
Jets are irrelevant compared to the Texans.
No, they aren't. F, Richie. 8.
They've been
playoff
alive
appearances?
for 23 years and made the playoffs 8 times. And they've not even made the Super Bowl once. Have they made an AFC Championship game? What's that? How
You
many?
know what? I'll
Texans,
say this to
AFC.
solidify why they're a D and not a F. They've been to the playoffs in 8 times in the last 20 years through the Patriots and the Chiefs era.
That's it. I'm done. They have not even touched the AFC Championship once in history. What do they do when they make the playoffs? Nothing.
The
They're an
Chiefs
F. They
and
haven't
they-
even made it to the AFC Championship game.
God.
What have they
it's
done?
not
They haven't
just
been
that,
there.
Richie. It's not just that. In 23 years of existence, that is nothing in the NFL. 23 years of a franchise?
I don't
Like
know.
they've,
Okay.
some would argue they've done very well in 23 years to have 8 playoff appearances.
And they've been to 6 divisional playoff games. So, dude, you're telling me an organization in 23 or whatever years in history have not touched the AFC Championship game. Didn't appear in that once in history in 24 years. They belong out of the F column. They've not even got to that point. That's an F. If there ever was. What have they done? 8 playoff appearances and not win in the playoffs? Like, it's not, you're making it seem like they
So
go
I
on
will
playoff
tell you what,
runs.
right? F does make sense for them because the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Cardinals have all at least been to a Super Bowl. And the Texans haven't even been to the AFC Championship.
Exactly. How are we
Like
going to put
Richie
them in the
is
same
pointing out.
category
But
with the
60
Panthers
years?
who've been to the Super Bowl twice, They haven't
And
been
the
to a
Panthers-
championship game. That's F if I ever seen one.
Look,
Wow.
so TD, say for example that the Panthers were in the same situation and haven't made a Super Bowl, like say that they didn't make those appearances, I would have the Panthers in the F tier too.
That's tough, man.
Not even
That-
AFC
like,
championship
y'all
appearance,
are-
CD.
you
I don't
gotta
even know
be
how
an
you're. How are you arguing this?
That's like saying a new team entered the NFL 5 years ago and they've been to the playoffs twice. F.
Why are you
don't
making
even
it
get to
seem
the
like
playoffs.
24 years is a small sample size? That's a
In the
decent amount of
NFL
time.
In the NFL, it is.
That's
When you
older
look
than
at
half of our
teams,
audience.
80 years.
24 years is a long time, and they even 24 times, TD, they had a chance to make the AFC Championship game, and they failed each time. I'm not going to celebrate them for making a wild card or a divisional game 8 times out of 24 years of existence. That is bad.
All right,
That's
all right.
F.
That's not. It's not celebrating them to put them in D. Okay,
But they're
It's
not in the same
celebrating.
category as teams who has at least been to the Super Bowl. The D
Yeah,
tier,
but
you at
at
least
the-
appear. The F
at
tier
the
is you haven't even
tier,
been there
A
yet.
tier. All right, man. Hey, listen. Hey, there's some Fs in the chat. We go F.
You love CJ Stroud. That's what this is about.
It have nothing to do with Stroud.
So if the Bengals have made multiple Super Bowls and are F, then the Texans are an F.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
Have the
80
Bengals
years
made
of being in existence.
Have the Bengals made multiple Super Bowls
And
in a
in
row?
those years of being in existence, they've been trash. So that's like that argument of saying the amount of time they've been alive means nothing to me. Like they've done nothing in their time alive in the league. So
Wow,
I don't care
dude,
when they
yeah.
start.
They haven't
Yeah,
been
yeah,
trash.
three Super Bowls for the Cincinnati Bengals. Maybe we should revisit.
Yeah, I think that elevates them to D. Good point. That's why we got Jesse.
And so I
in the
think
chat.
Bengals should be elevated to D. All right, look at that. Thank you for Jesse. We appreciate that. We have the Indianapolis Colts. You have 2 Super Bowls.
We
I
gotta
do
fire
think
through
that
these.
was really just the Peyton Manning era for me, right? I believe outside of the Peyton Manning era, not a lot. C? I'd say a C tier.
You know, you can argue B for them. Historically.
Who again?
Indianapolis Colts. I would put them in the B category. 2-time champs.
All right,
I
C
like
or
them at
B,
B.
TD? You are the tiebreaker here.
They're middle of the pack here. How?
They also
I
have
got-
a lot of
I-
Hall of
I-
Famers.
How many Super Bowls did they win?
2. I think they're B.
They won 2.
They won 2, yeah.
I gotta go C. C plus.
C tier it is.
They've been to 4 Super Bowls and won 2 of them. And they're in the same conversation as the Buffalo Bills, who have not won a Super Bowl. What are we doing?
4 Super Bowls in a row, though.
Appearances. They have 2
Appearance.
championship rings. They are not in the same breath as the
All right,
Buffalo
Richie.
Bills.
Well, all right, Richie. How about we rephrase it? 4 back-to-back-to-back-to-back AFC champions. How about that?
Colts are 2-time champs, and they're in the same conversation as a non-champion. That is,
You got a point.
they have,
Nice. All right,
they have
so
the same
B
amount of
tier.
Super Bowl appearances
There you
as
go.
the Bills. 4 Super Bowl appearances for the Colts. 4 Super Bowl appearances for the Bills. Colts
I'm gonna
won 2
change
of them.
that. I'm gonna go B with the Colts. I'll go B.
Okay. B with the Colts. By the way, we are going to screenshot this and put it on Twitter and really get people going. All right. Anyway, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. F for me. I think we can all agree there.
Yeah.
Only an AFC. Wait. And so, did the Jags ever appear in a Super Bowl?
No,
no?
I think the AFC title game was the farthest they've ever gone.
Yeah. Okay. With the Kansas City Chiefs, I think we can all agree. S tier.
But they've been to 3 AFC championship games, something the Texans have never done once. Just saying.
90.
I'd put the Jaguars over the Texans if we rank them, by the way, all time.
Okay, we'll just put the Jags ahead of the Texans, although it's meaningless. and so at least visually, and people understand where we're coming from. All right. We have the Las Vegas Raiders, Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders. Man, this team's all over the place.
That's that's between A and B. It's like B, you can argue A for me type of vibe.
Super Bowl wins and appearances.
3 times
and
champs.
Hall of Famers. All right. So I have ChatGPT. It is pulling all of the data that we need to see.
They've been in the Super Bowl 5 times, winning 3 of them.
Okay, so 5 times Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl wins, and 31 total Hall of Famers.
Wait. When did the Chiefs get an S?
And so I went on ahead and I just had them up there.
I don't think they're S.
Oh, you would put them in the A.
Yeah, I mean, they're the modern dynasty, but their all-time history is not enough, I think, to put them in the S tier.
Okay,
and I totally disagree.
Chiefs real
They
fast.
are
You think TD thinks they're S?
They're the epitome of what the Cowboys did. Think about it. It's just flip. Cowboys had the dynasty.
So Chiefs,
but the Chiefs were bad up until his dynasty.
Smith was winning.
But
I mean,
so
I would disagree. I think there's
six
only
Super Bowl appearances, 4 Super Bowl wins, 25 total Hall of Famers.
So who is this we're talking about? Now I'm confused. Which team?
The Chiefs.
Okay.
I
think we're forgetting how bad they were before this run. That's why I feel like it's because when I think of the S tier, I got 5 teams in my brain, and that's it. And the Chiefs aren't one of them.
What do you mean how bad they were before the run? Are we talking about?
So that's the last one, Richie.
Before Alex Smith, even. I mean, this Alex Smith era made them at least somewhat relevant, but before then, they were like the worst team in football for years and years and years. I don't know. I feel like they need to still do a little bit more to get in the S tier. I think of 5 teams when I think of the S tier, personally, in terms of all time, but that's just my opinion.
And so I think I'm going to keep them in the S tier.
All right. If TD votes for S, then that's the vote.
Yeah, winning.
We have the Raiders. And so the Las Vegas Raiders.
Raiders are A or B. A or B.
All right, so the Raiders, in case anybody was wondering, their stats were 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Super Bowl titles, 31 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductees. I'm okay with A.
And I want to make this of note because everyone calls me a Mahomes glazer and I'm a Chiefs lover. I'm the one saying the Chiefs should not be S. Just want to make that be on record.
Look at that. Okay, now we have the LA Chargers, folks. Let's take a look at some of their metrics. 1 Super Bowl appearance in 1995, 0 wins. 15 total Pro Football Hall of Famers.
F.
Yep. I'm going to have to go F on this one. TD?
Yeah, y'all are tough. It's an F.
It's an F. Have the LA Rams. Rams, St. Louis all the way down to LA. Here's some of the Rams metrics. I'm feeling okay. It's between A or B for me, but let's go ahead and pull up some of the Hall of Fame stats. Something else. Okay. So Super Bowl appearances, 5. You have 2 Super Bowl titles.
I think
33 inductees of the Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
I got them in B with the Colts. I think they're perfect with the Colts and Bears.
B plus. Yeah.
B is where you are at. Now we have the Miami Dolphins. Let's take a look at the Dolphins here, Richie. All right. Here are the numbers for the Dolphins, in case any of you guys are intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, I got the number right away, or the letter immediately.
5 Super Bowl appearances. 5 Super Bowl appearances, 2 wins. Last one was back in into the black and white television days.
You ain't said that for a single team, and now you want to talk about when it happened. Like when the last time the Raiders? You ain't mentioned
17.
Dolphins are easy, bro. Come on.
The Dolphins
17 total Hall of Fame inductees. Shula, who is arguably the best coach in NFL history. All right, you know what?
You forgot one stat that no team has done in the NFL. You forgot
an undefeated season.
No, 2
the only undefeated season ever. 2 undefeated seasons ever. But look, like this drought has really hurt your legacy.
Thank you.
Like this drought has really hurt it. It's all right. Look,
we're talking all time, TD. You can't just ignore the drought. You can't just ignore that.
Hold on. Did the Kansas City Chiefs have a drought? Did the Raiders?
You put them in S. I didn't.
No, Raiders have a drought.
Not like this. This is history. Your drought's a historic drought.
It's bad.
Your drought is history. Isn't it the longest playoff drought win in history?
Everybody had droughts. Dolphins
not a historic drought, though.
All right.
Not a historic drought.
Hey, all right. Last Super Bowl appearance. 1984.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are A.
So I think we need to account for this. We need to account
I got my
for this.
vote.
Y'all not.
Dan, have you made your vote? I have my vote. I haven't
Dolphins are
said it yet.
A. And it
All right.
should be
I'm going to be nice because they do have that record. 2 undefeated seasons, except for I'm pretty sure back then was like 10 games they played.
No, it wasn't.
I'm kidding.
One I want to poll the chat.
I'm gonna. All right, listen. I'm gonna give it a B.
A. Oh my god.
A B, and not an A. And so I do think that C is disrespectful, but B is probably where I'm gonna go.
Undefeated season.
So
greatest quarterback of all time.
So you
greatest
have a B.
coach of all time.
Greatest quarterback of all time? Did you just say
Dan Marino is the greatest quarterback of all time. He just ain't got the ring. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. You give him one ring and they're not debating anymore.
TD, stop it. He's not even close.
Who's better? What quarterback is better?
Tom Brady. What are we even doing?
Stop.
The GOAT of football is Tom Brady.
They had to change the rules for Tom Brady when he broke his
Oh,
leg.
give me a break. You even know Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Yeah, because they gave it to him. Just like they gave Josh
They
Allen
gave it to him.
last year.
All right, well, I have my vote. My vote is a B, and I knew that right away. I didn't even consider it.
All right. So
the
me and Richard are on the same
25-year
page.
playoff drought. TD, if the Dolphins
That's fair.
did not have a 25-year playoff drought win, then that would be an A for them.
Audience,
It's just
we're
25
A.
years.
That's just bias from the division.
That's
y'all.
not bias, bro. We have a poll in the chat. You guys can vote A, B, or C for the Miami Dolphins. And right now, B is the leading one.
We got Ace Ventura. How about that?
TD.
Ace Ventura.
The longest playoff win drought
It's-
in NFL history ruined you guys. If the Dolphins even made 2 more Super Bowls within that next stretch, you'd be an A. But no. That's what killed it.
And so the Dolphins are sort of like that relative that comes to stay with you, but then they keep extending their stay, and after a while, you're just like,
Well,
holy
guess what?
shit. Like,
If
bro,
we
it's
win a
time to
Super Bowl
leave.
this year, we go back to,
Yeah.
we go to an S. We win a Super Bowl this year, we go to an S.
You don't go
It's like
no,
that
no
dude
S.
that won prom king, but then like he keeps flexing it like 40 years later, and you're kind of like, yeah, bro, but you're kind of trash now.
See,
So,
no, y'all ain't consider
it's-
this, man.
It's B tier for me.
Come on.
And
man.
Ace Ventura does move the needle.
Do you know what Ace Ventura is?
Oh,
Richie,
all right.
do you know
Well,
what that is? Ace Ventura,
What?
Pet Detective. Do you know
Heard
what
of
that
it.
is?
Heard
Ah,
of
it's
it.
you
before
ain't
his
heard
time.
of it.
It's
See,
before
we-
his time.
Yeah,
I've definitely heard of it, but I don't know it. I can tell you.
So the
didn't give us-
tiebreaker here, guys, listen, I'm sorry, Dolphins fans, but listen, like we have you ranked above the Buffalo Bills. All right, like that should be a victory for you.
And by the way, the poll
That
is
should be a
voting
victory
B.
for you.
The vote, everyone vote in the poll B. Everyone's saying B right now,
Man,
but you
what-
can
what-
vote A, B, or C.
It's B. It's B.
All right, let's go
That's
to
where-
the next one.
What percent is A on there, Richie? The poll.
You can always pull it up. 48% B, 23% A, and then 30% C.
The C's capping.
All
And
right.
Dolphins fans say the S tier is the most delusional shit I've ever seen. All right. Anyway, let's go into the Minnesota Vikings. Same team also has 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 losses. I think the Minnesota Vikings are right in the C tier for me. Same as the Buffalo Bills. It's tough to put the Bills like right in the C tier because they lost 4 Super Bowls and not put the Vikings in the exact same place. I think C is fair.
I think D.
D, why?
Their postseason record. I think they're like 3-11 postseason. Like it doesn't matter. Like y'all.
Let's check out the Vikings.
Hold on. In the last 20, let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh yeah, I was looking at the wrong team. What am I looking at?
4 Super Bowl appearances,
Yeah.
haven't made it back since 1977. 0-4 in the Super Bowl. Have 23 Hall of Famers. 4 Super Bowl appearances, 4 losses, playoff record.
Yeah, we'll put them there with
Yeah,
the Bills.
they literally are, like Lewis says in the chat, they're the NFC Bills.
Okay,
For
yeah.
sure.
All right.
C.
You have 21-32 all-time
Yeah,
in the
you can put them in
playoffs.
C. Yep.
Bills playoff record. I'm just curious to see what the Bills playoff record is all-time.
21-22.
Really?
One short.
It is. Wow, bro. You had that information like right on the dome piece?
No, I looked it up.
Interesting. Okay. We have the Patriots. I think we can all agree that's an S tier team. Like that is the dynasty.
They are an
Come on.
F. Drake May's trash, dude.
It's an S
They're
tier.
They're an
for the
S
Pats.
for sure.
We have the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints, for me, I would put them in. You see, this is like the one where
So
you can
one
throw it.
Super
You
Bowl,
can throw that in the C tier with them, but they're a champion. That's the thing. They're a one-time champ, but they have not really had a lot of relevancy outside of that.
Yeah.
So I would put them in the C tier.
I agree. They're C. They are C.
I think C is quality. Giants.
A.
I think the Giants are an A
B.
team, to be honest
You
with
sure?
you.
B?
So they knocked down. All right.
No, what's the
So
record?
they
man?
ruined the undefeated season for the New England Patriots. They beat the New England Patriots twice in the Tom Brady era, which is something I think that propels them to an
but
NFL
what else
legendary aspect.
They're 4-time champions, bro. There's no way they're not. A is their floor.
4-time victory.
Okay.
It was 1986, 90, 2007, 2011.
Lawrence
New York
Taylor.
Giants are an A tier. I'm good with that. The New York Jets.
E.
E?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to let you guys vote before I give you my vote, which is the truth.
Let's check out the Jets here for a second, all right? 1 Super Bowl appearance, 1 win.
Bang. 100%. Look up, Dan. Who in the NFL has a 100% record in the Super Bowl? I'm curious.
Well, so does the Saints.
There you go.
But
That's your clue.
so the playoff appearances 12. Last time 2010. Have an all-time playoff record of 12-13. You have 4 conference championships. Last one being in 2002. And 20 Hall of Famers.
Bang.
I'm being generous here, and I'm being fair. I'm not trying to hate. They're C, and I'm being generous. They could be.
I'd probably agree with C as well.
Yeah, they could be D though, but they're
You ready for my vote?
C. Yeah.
Go ahead, Richie.
I am a C as well, and I wanted to see if we agreed before I said mine. Thank you for being reasonable and taking your hate glasses off.
Could have been
okay?
a D though. Could have been a
D. Not a D.
One little measly appearance.
I'll say this: if the Jets somehow miraculously won a Super Bowl with Rodgers, we are B.
Well, yeah. All right, whatever.
When we do Aaron Glenn.
All right.
Nah, C is perfect because this is how I look at it. The Saints, 1-time Super Bowl appearance, championship. If you got a ring, you can't be less than a C.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's roll.
So we have the Philadelphia Eagles here, which is interesting. 5 Super Bowl appearances.
Yeah, I know mine.
2 of which won. Their all-time playoff record is 29-26. They had 14 Hall of Fame inductees, 31 playoff appearances.
That sound
I'm
like
gonna have
Dolphins.
to go A.
That sound like the Dolphins without the undefeated season.
But they've been a hell of a lot more consistent.
Yeah, I give them an A because of the breakout, like then and now.
And so, what do you got on this, Richie?
I'm actually gonna go B.
I think they're B. Yeah, I'm a B vote for the Eagles. Their
B
2
for
Super
the
Bowl
Eagles.
rings are recently.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the Colts, 2-time champions, Dolphins. You know,
B?
I think the B
and that's
tier,
recency.
they're not A.
That's recency. They'll be fighting for S in recency, but they're B.
I would even argue, looking at this, they'll argue Ravens B too. By the way,
Yeah, Ravens could be a B. You're right. We're changing it.
No, Dan, you just want graphic to go out.
No. You're right. We'll put the Ravens in A. I
feel like
okay. So next 2, and so I think that this is going to be synonymous. Steelers and San Francisco 49ers are S, and that
I
rounds
agree.
off the S tier.
And
Steelers,
in my brain, I had
Niners,
5
S.
S teams,
Yeah.
and the Chiefs were the odd man out of this. I did not have the. I have
Chiefs
the
are
Chiefs
the odd
in A.
mans out.
I feel like there's too many S's here in my eyes. I don't think the Chiefs are on the same level as these 5 organizations next to him, just off of this era. If this dynasty lasts more and they keep winning rings, yes. But I feel like we're forgetting how bad the Chiefs were before this dynasty, bro.
I actually agree with that. Come on,
Like,
Dan. Put them down one.
So
I don't
are we
see the
switching
Chiefs.
the Chiefs to the A tier?
Yep.
Okay.
Look at it from the historical standpoint. They were abysmal while these teams were dominating. This is their first dominating era, and it's lasted how long? 5 years?
Yes. All right.
They're
All
not
right.
there
We
yet.
have the Seattle Seahawks. One Super Bowl win. One terrible call by Pete Carroll right at the 1 yard line. I'm going
Colts
to
are
pull up the
three-time
statistics here.
champions.
Seahawks. Let's see what the Seahawks have to say with their numbers. What's important for this team, folks? The Seattle Seahawks have had 3 Super Bowl appearances, 1 loss.
Wait, but the Colts are 2-time Super Bowl champions. I think they have
said
won
3.
NFL.
Everybody in the chat saying 3.
According to my research, the Colts have won 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I've seen 2 with the Colts. I haven't seen 3.
Okay.
And one of them was the Baltimore
have-
Colts, by the way, not Indianapolis.
Yeah. 3 conference titles, have 11 division titles, a 1-2 record in the Super Bowl, 20 playoff appearances, 17 for 19 in playoff record, and 14 Seahawks are Hall of Famers.
See,
I feel like.
See, I agree.
At the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who I'm pretty sure are 1-1 in Super Bowl attempts. So one recently with Tom Brady, one back when they played the Raiders, where John Gruden and didn't have a single snap in the shotgun. Wow. How times have changed. John Gruden. Man, John Gruden. Let's see. 15 playoff appearances for the Bucs, 12-13 playoff record. Super Bowl record 2-0, excuse me. 2-0 in the Super Bowl, not 1-1.
You could say B. You can argue B. Being on 2-0
it could
in
be
the Super
B or
Bowl.
C, but I'm gonna go B because they were actually established in '74. They were like that extra wave, that second wave.
I'm going to have to go with B myself. We have the Tennessee Titans. All right. They did make the Super Bowl their first year in the NFL.
They were also loaded last year, which counts.
D, man, they're D or F, man. Let's call it what it is.
Are we including the Houston Oilers in this? Like, because that's who they were beforehand.
So that's technically the Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
Titans are
Because
3-9.
it is indeed still the Tennessee Titans. And so the Oilers, for example, had zero Super Bowl appearances. So that does not help them.
F
tier for the Titans. And how about the Commanders/Redskins? Let's
the
see.
Commanders. Ooh, now that's going to be interesting.
Super Bowl champs, right? 5 Super Bowl appearances, 3 Lombardi trophies. However, this team was also plagued by the Dan Snyder era, where that was just such an abysmal franchise.
I got them. I know where I put them.
I'm gonna go B.
D for me.
B as in boy.
Did you say D, Dan?
I did, but I spoke too soon. C for me.
Holy, that's
because
so disrespectful.
The Dan Snyder era was a dark cloud of that organization.
I even considered A.
Me too. My vote is A. My vote is A. She's 3-time champions, and they dominated an era. How are they possibly C?
I suppose you're right. I spoke too soon. The Washington Redskins / Commanders, a B. A B. Folks.
You can argue A, but
that's going to have to do it with our all-time franchise tier list. Now, please do us a favor and engage with this on X, because we are about to screenshot this bad boy, and we are about to put it on our X profile for all of you to debate and let us know your thoughts. And wow, man, a long episode of Fourth and Forever. Hour long, baby.
Hour plus.
Hour long.
Oh my gosh.
Man, you know
TD's
what?
like, oh, I didn't realize what time. I got to go.
It is great. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we are going to be ranking. Yeah, he just left. He's like, oh, shit, I'm in
TD
trouble.
looked at his phone and probably had like a million messages, and he's like, oh.
Yeah. But so tomorrow, folks, we are going to be ranking NFL front offices. Offices, we are going to be ranking those on the tier list. Welcome to the offseason. Say, for example, you enjoyed today's episode, folks. We highly suggest you subscribe and turn on bell notifications. We're going to be doing a bunch of very, very cool episodes like this, ranking, I feel like, just about anything you could think of. Tonight on the AFC East Roundtable, we are going to be ranking position groups for each and every single AFC East team. So certainly stay tuned for that. Richie, would you like to say anything to the audience before we set them off?
Yeah, I was going to remind everybody that we're going to be live tonight for the AFC East Roundtable. As Dan just said, that's going to be very exciting. I think that the position rankings are always a fun time. So make sure you guys come through. That's where we will be tonight for our usual show. Oh, hold on. There we go. Here is the show. So go over there, hit that like button, folks, and go support it. We'll be live here tonight. All right. So with that, we appreciate all the love and support. Make sure you guys also, I want to plug something else, if you don't mind, Dan.
Please.
You think I can plug this?
I would love for you to.
Because Roundtable Sports has been posting some articles, and we have some Buffalo Bills articles. If you guys want to go support us and check out the Roundtable Sports website, go check out our latest article posted on roundtablesports.net. We would appreciate it, guys. Check it out. Shout out to Justin, who is our writer right now for Roundtable Sports, covering the Buffalo Bills and other stuff. So we'd appreciate it, guys. Come over and support us on roundtablesports.net as we launch our blog. Our blogs all across the website. So with that, we'll see you guys tonight. Love you guys.
Love you.
And also super chats. TD cannot go a segment without bringing up the Jets. Facts. Browns 8 rings. They're S tier.
8 rings?
No, they don't. Is there a Patriot meet by Colby and the Cardinals have 2 rings? The Bills are no Patriot meets for New England. And Dolphins are D tier. You could argue that. Patriots still appreciate the super chat. Appreciate all the donations, guys. Really do. Love you guys. And we'll see you tonight on the AFC East Roundtable.